Hello, this is Marisol. And are you moving to the USA with mental health illness? If so, stick tuned and I will give you some tips and advice on moving to the USA with mental health illness. So, for starters, the one thing you want to make sure that you have is insurance, whether that be government funded Medicaid or private company insured. If you're traveling abroad with a sponsorship or a visa, and they provide you insurance, that's probably like the best way. You want to make sure you have insurance because it gets very costly. I remember one time I stayed for 14 days at a hospital and it came close to almost $40,000, and the insurance company had to cover that. Um, and there are times that I stayed longer, and they didn't send me a bill for that, but luckily I had insurance and it covered. And you just want to make sure that you have insurance. It's very costly, it's very expensive, everything here in the United States when it comes to medication. One thing that I do recommend is using an app called ZocDoc. Again, I'm not being sponsored or anything, I'm just giving them a shout out. They have their doctors, psychiatrists, all health professionals that you need, you will find there with them. You just plug in your insurance information and you have a list of providers that show up that are close to your vicinity or close to where you are. And you want to make sure that you have that because you want to be able to have accessible health towards available close by where you're staying. The other thing you want to make sure is that you have the medication, whether that, once you have insurance, there's co-pays and deductibles. But you want to make sure that you can use Good RX. I recommend that app as well. They offer coupons for discounted rates if your insurance company doesn't pay for your medication completely. Good RX is a good app that I've used in the past for medications and for deep discounts. Sometimes they're one-time use, sometimes they're continuous use. You just have to check and see. Again, I'm giving them a shout out. I'm not sponsored by them. The next thing you want to make sure that you have is emergency contacts. When you're moving abroad, if you're moving alone, it's very lonely. But if you're moving with family or friends, you want to make sure that you have a support system or you have groups that you can go to, whether that be weekly groups at a center or you have friends that you're close by. You want to make sure that you have that network and that support system that you're going to need. A support system is very good because you get lonely. And sometimes that doesn't really help your mental health. And it deteriorates it, being isolated, being alone. We're social creatures and we need that socialization. And it helps to know that you're being supported and that you have someone. The one thing you also want to make sure is that when you're moving to the States, whether you're a city person or you like the rural suburb areas like bus, cars, because of my medication, I can't operate heavy machinery, which includes a car. They make me drowsy and very tired, so I can't operate them. And so I live in it's New York City, so it's everything, the convenience of it is close, but again, living conditions are very tight, and it's not ideal, but I'm making it work every day, pushing through and so forth. It's definitely been a challenge, but it's somewhere where I've definitely been able to see the positives, find the positives within it. It's not easy, but the good thing about the city, is in the transportation aspect, is that there's the MTA, which again they have assessor ride, and because you have a qualifying medical condition or mental health condition, you qualify for reduced fare for transportation, and also accessibility using the car services that they have. It's like the Uber version for residents. but it's through a company, and that company provides transportation to, disabled or those with like mentally challenged issues. So um, there's that type of support in the city when it comes to that. This is not that it's not prevalent in all cities. Every city is different. Every state is different. So when you're moving to the USA, you want to see which areas you're moving into. You want to check to see the healthcare and how close of proximity you are to a hospital, and also, a clinic, a psychiatric clinic, for outpatient care. Want to make sure that you have that. So yeah, that's some of my tips uh, of living in the city, New York City in particularly. Um, Subscribe, like, share. Stay tuned for my next episode, where I will discuss more about living with mental health illness in the big city and day to day struggles, but also day to day positives that you can do.